You can completely change your life and become unrecognizable in 90 days. Other people have done it, I've done it myself, so I can promise you that you can. If you feel stuck, or if you feel a bit lost, or if you just need a change, trust me, I've been there, and I can promise you that you can do this in just 90 days. And in this video, I am going to tell you how. If there's anything that you want to take away from this video, it will be this one, which is to start now. We always hold the notion that the only time that we can truly transform our lives or make any significant change is in the new year. And the new year comes around every 365 days. And during those times, in that 365 days, we kind of spend our lives feeling a little bit stuck and wanting to change, but it's just not the time to start. And I don't want that for you. So don't just wait until tomorrow or the next quarter to start. Put your actions together now, because the only way that we can truly transform our lives and see the transformation is to start now and start today. The period of 90 days is beneficial in many ways. First of all, it's long enough for you to see the change and the transformation, but at the same time, it is also short enough to keep you motivated, excited, and for those changes that you implement to be automatic. Research shows that it takes around 21 days to develop a habit. However, it takes 66 days for those habits to become automatic, and therefore the 90 days give you enough time to do that. And when you have a set period of 90 days, it comes with a set deadline itself. We as human, we are wired to procrastinate, and things without deadline just don't get done. However, as much as we like to procrastinate, we dislike unpleasant occurrences more. So therefore, having this set deadline with the mentality of that the playtime is over or the deadline is imminent can work really well for us to get the task that needs to be done. Now, in order to transform your life, the first thing to understand is where you currently are now. So it is beneficial to do a life audit. You want to evaluate your current life intentionally. And within this life audit, the way I do it is that I do two things. First of all, evaluate where you are currently, how you spend your time, what does your day look like, where you are in all areas in life. You may have heard this graph or concept called Wheel of Life, and there are many versions of them, but I'll put up the one that I am using. So once you've assessed all the areas in your life, you've done a full life audit of where you currently are. The next step is I want you to write next to it, what's your ideal life be like for all these areas in life. And I want to give you some example. When I did my life audit, here's what I wrote when it comes to physical health. I feel tired a lot of time. I want to go to the gym and work out, but I can't seem to find the motivation to go. I always say I'll do it tomorrow, but when tomorrow comes, I don't keep promise to myself. Feel like I am addicted to sugar because I need to have it every day. And my current body fat is 30%. And here was what I wrote next to it, which was the ideal life in terms of my physical health. I wrote, I am an active person. I walk so many steps every day, more than 6,000 steps a day. And I also go to the gym and work out 3 to 4 times a week. I have maintained a stable body weight, but I'm not really stressed about body weight. It's more about how I feel. I love myself, my body, and I am grateful to have this body. And I show it by feeding it an optimal and nutritious food. It's quite spooky reading that actually, because the ideal life that I wanted when I did my last transformation is actually the life that I am living now. And yes, I did all that in 90 days. So this is just another proof that you can also do the same. So now that you've done all that exercise, you're starting to become aware of what's currently working in your life and what's not working. Basically, what you are doing is you need to try to bridge the gap between the current life that you are currently in and the ideal life that you want to be. And after this exercise, you know exactly the change that you need to make in order to get to your ideal life. And once you have that idea of the change that you need to make, it can be so tempting to want to change all areas of your life all at once, change all the aspects all at once. But it is much better, especially in the period of 90 days, to carefully evaluate all these changes and prioritize the change that will have the biggest impact in your life. They are the highest value changes. Remember, it's all about quality and not necessarily about quantity. So based on my personal experience, the question that I asked myself was, what could I do today that will have the biggest impact tomorrow or in the next 3 months? When I did my whole life audit, I realized that if I become a person who is fit and strong, when I feel good, I project that into the world. I will show up as a better person. And if I could do that, that means my relationship will be better. I can focus better on my work because I feel good. I'm no longer feeling tired. So that was where my focus was, and that worked really well for me. So whatever is on your list, evaluate them carefully and pick out 2 things to, or maybe 3 maximum, to improve or change. So this way you can focus on what actually matters. I think by now we sort of understand that we shouldn't really rely on our motivation because motivation fluctuates, but rather we should rely on consistency. When it comes to implementing the changes and strategizing, I heavily rely on the method outlined in this book, The 12-Week Year by Brian P. Morgan. And it's actually a really great book, and I would recommend anyone to grab it because, he covers loads more in the book than what I am going to be covering in this video today. But the very basis of this book is that consistent action turns dreams into reality, and what we do on day to day is actually what counts. So consistency, not motivation. And in order to keep up the consistency, we need to figure out what we're going to be doing every month, every week, and every single day in order to implement those changes. So for example, earlier this year, I set a 30 days transformation goal to shift my mindset from self-doubt to a stronger sense of self-belief and self-confidence. So I put in the plan that every week I have to make at least one big decision all by myself without having to ask other people's opinion of what should I do. And by practicing every single day of becoming decisive, becoming confident in my decision making, actually has helped me eliminating my self-doubt. And I'm not saying this is a easy process because every single day there was that little voice in my head before I made any decision that, are you sure? Do you not want to double check with so and so before you make that decision? And I would just acknowledge that voice and made the decision anyway. And by practicing that every day, every week, every month, that's how I eliminated a big chunk of my self-doubt. But planning and strategizing your actions are one thing. But the truth is, in order to make true change or true transformation, you need to become a different person, the person that you want to be, the person that you wrote down that you want to be. And you can only do that by completely strip off your old self. Your past self and your past experiences form the basis of your worldview and your old belief, the belief that you want to get rid of. And you can have all the great plan in the world, but it will not work if you always come back to your old self, the self that you want to change from or run away from. If you want to change your life or certain areas of your life, it means that your old self used to matter and your old self used to serve you well. However, your old self is no longer relevant to where you want to go. So for example, and this is my exact journey, which is that I realized that I want to share my journey and my thoughts because I feel like the journey that I had in my 20s or early 30s, I felt like I was going through those alone. And I want to share my journey of struggle and how I dealt with all these struggles to come out on another side stronger, so that if there is someone like me out there feeling the same, struggling with the same thing, they can have a comfort that they're not alone. And I just hope that my tips can help other people out there. And that became my new obsession and my new goal and objective in life. And I do that by producing videos like this. And by recognizing that, I know that I need to weed out some of my my past self, some of my past behaviors that no longer serves me, so I need to cut them out. So binge drinking socially, for example, I used to go out. I mean, I live in England and drinking here is such a big culture. I mean, pub culture is big here. So I used to waste days after binge drinking, being tired and being miserable, and I would have no motivation of doing anything. And that would impact my ability of making videos, being on camera. So I knew that I had to stop. Or binge watching series, it uses up a lot of time, the time that I could go learn a new skills, I could go read something and then share it to the world. So I had to cut these out, strip these off, because I know they no longer serve the person that I want to be. You won't be able to achieve what you want until you can truly identify what's blocking your progress. And most of the time, that is your past self. Thank you so much for watching this video. And if you watched this until the end, I encourage you again to start now. Do not click off this video and then binge watching series of YouTube videos after this. To make change, to transform, just grab a pen and a paper, write down your life audit and get started. I am so looking forward to hear about your 2.0 version in the next 90 days. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.